Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We would really appreciate if you could rate us with 5 stars or the equivalent in the app where you are listening to this podcast. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 213 days left the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine initiates an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council due to the fake referendums that Russia is holding in the occupied territories of Ukraine in order to annex them, reports ONN. According to the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry spokesman Oleg Nikolenko, Russia should be held accountable for further attempts to change the internationally recognized borders of Ukraine in violation of the UN Charter. Ukraine informs that it knows about representatives of 8 countries who acted as observers for the fake Russian referendums in the occupied Ukrainian territories, reports Slovo y Dilo. These are representatives of Russia itself, as well as Belarus, Syria, Egypt, Brazil, Venezuela, Uruguay, Togo, and South Africa. The Ministry of Reintegration of Ukraine and law enforcement agencies already know their names. These people are participating in a collective crime against the sovereign independent state of Ukraine, stated the Ministry of Reintegration. Russia can announce annexations of the occupied areas of Donetsk, Lugansk, Kherson and Zaporizhia regions on September 30th, reports Ukrainska Pravda. According to the Russian media, bills on the entry of the occupied territories into the Russian Federation based on the results of the fake referendums may be submitted to the parliament on the evening of September 28th. After their approval on September 30th, a ceremony at which new lands will be formally annexed is expected to take place. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stated that Russia will protect with nuclear weapons all of its territory, including parts of Ukraine annexed through fake referendums if they are included in the Russian constitution. He added that Russia is ready to talk with the West but not take the first step towards a dialogue, and warned that the longer Kyiv refuses to negotiate, the harder it will be. The Kremlin is considering the idea of introducing martial law and banning men from traveling abroad, reports Censor. According to the Russian media sources, it may take place after the annexation of the Ukrainian territories. If Ukrainian forces will continue to fight trying to liberate those lands, Russia may introduce martial law. The ban on departure of men who are fit for service may be announced even earlier, since the authorities assess the number of men leaving the country as alarming. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky again addressed Russians and called on them either to avoid mobilization at all costs or to surrender to Ukrainian captivity. He stressed that Ukraine defends itself in this war and defends the lives of its people, its children, its freedom. Quote, "What is Russia fighting for? Every citizen of Russia knows, even if many do not admit it, they know for sure that it is Russia that brings evil." Unquote. The president assured that Ukraine guarantees every Russian soldier who surrenders that they will be treated in accordance with all conventions. No one will know the circumstances of their surrender, and that if they are afraid to return to Russia and do not want an exchange, Ukraine will find a way to ensure this as well. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that Russian forces continue to focus their efforts on attempts to fully occupy the Donetsk region and hold the captured territories, as well as to prevent active actions of Ukrainian troops, reports Union. Over the past 24 hours, the Russian invaders have launched 7 missiles and 22 airstrikes, fired more than 67 rounds of multiple launch rocket systems at military and civilian targets on the territory of Ukraine. The Ukrainian Air Force carried out 26 strikes targeting areas of concentration of manpower and military equipment of the enemy. We would really appreciate if you could support us on our Patreon. Even $5 a month will help us to continue our work and present to you the latest news from Ukraine. As a token of our gratitude for your support, you will get access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. From this series, you will learn how ordinary Ukrainians live in times of invasion, what they eat, how they travel, celebrate, what music they listen to, and much more. To subscribe to our Patreon, follow the link in the description to this episode. Thank you. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.